Welcome to the Wisconsin Office of Outdoor Recreation mini webinar series. Today's title is Promoting Economically Vital Outdoor Tourism. Outdoor recreation is a top reason for visiting Wisconsin. Nearly half of Wisconsin is covered by forests, including 43,000 miles of river shoreline, 6 million acres of public land, including 49 state parks. Outdoor recreation contributes $7.8 billion to Wisconsin's gross domestic product. It's a real economic driver that supports 93,000 jobs, $3.9 billion in worker compensation, and is home to world-class outdoor brands. The Office of Outdoor Recreation was established in 2019 with bipartisan support. The vision of the office is for Wisconsin to be recognized as a top outdoor recreation state for visitors, residents, and businesses. The mission is to support and uplift the outdoor recreation industry and its partners for the economic health and overall well-being of the state and its residents. We do this by aligning our partners around the four tenets: to invite residents, visitors, businesses, and workforce talent to work, play, and live in Wisconsin, to experience the state's natural places and vast outdoor recreation offerings. We connect people to Wisconsin's natural places and outdoor recreation opportunities through access and education, with a focus on inclusion. We believe people thrive when active lifestyles and outdoor recreation are promoted as ways to create healthy individuals and communities, and sustain Wisconsin's invaluable natural assets by encouraging outdoor recreation, the connection to place, and the preservation of healthy lands and waters. Today's topic is promoting economically vital outdoor tourism. Our presenters include Sarah Meany, Secretary of the Department of Tourism, Shane Brossard, Director of Marketing and Advertising, and Craig Trost, Communications Director. It's my honor to kick off today's event by introducing you to Sarah Meany, Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Tourism. Sarah?
Thanks, Mary, for the opportunity to talk about the very important role that outdoor recreation plays within Wisconsin's tourism success and expansion in the coming years. So, as you can see, outdoor recreation is a really important part of why people choose Wisconsin, both to live here, but also to play here. In fact, outdoor recreation has been a #1 marketable driver for visitation to the state. And that is an important piece of information as we build our plans around how to get more people to enjoy Wisconsin. It shouldn't be a surprise, or you shouldn't have to wonder why outdoor recreation is such a driver of visitation and spending in the state when you really think about all the things Wisconsin has to offer. As you can see, this list demonstrates the wide variety of activities and resources that we have. And it isn't just about how well positioned we are with natural resources, but it also is about the infrastructure and opportunities for people to recreate around the state while also enjoying the outside at the same time. So whether it's hiking or fishing or boating or skiing, Wisconsin really has it all when it comes to outdoor recreation and in all four seasons. So we really see it as a huge asset to the work that we do to attract people to the state of Wisconsin. So as we began to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, the outdoors became an even more important source of respite for so many people. And in the following slides, you're going to see numerous examples of ways that we are seeing increased participation in outdoor recreation activities. Even with drastic upticks in participation, it doesn't mean that all outdoor recreation businesses are thriving. So we did see spikes in state park visits and state trails usage this summer. But one of the important pieces of this activity is to connect this interest, connect this participation to true economic opportunities, to make sure that those things pay off to the taxpayers of our state and ensure that we can live up to the expectations of maintaining and sustaining excellent outdoor resources. Another example of how people engaged in outdoor recreation at significantly high levels was in the numbers that we see for fishing licenses. Sales of first-time Wisconsin fishing licenses nearly doubled in the spring of 2020. And by August of this year, 1.4 million individuals had purchased fishing licenses, and that's up 14% over the same period last year. So when we see things like that that translate into dollars being spent, those are the types of things that we continue to seek out in order to convert interest into economic impact. Another example is in hunting participation. Archery and crossbow license sales were up 24% over last fall. Gun deer licenses sales were up 12% compared to September of 2019, and turkey license sales were up 20% in spring of 2020. Also saw an uptick in camping reservations with a 17.7% increase in occupancy for campsites in July of 2020 compared to 2019. RV sales also saw early summer spikes. Bicycling interest has also grown during the pandemic, and of Americans who own a bike, 21% have been riding more since the COVID-19 pandemic, according to Trek research. And in March, U.S. bike sales rose across virtually every category, from commuter and fitness bikes to leisure bikes, up 121%, and children's bike sales also grew very significantly. Boat sales and rentals also saw a huge increase, with national reports telling us that sales of boats have been up over 70%. We've also seen paddle sports rentals surging. So, of course, we're seeing these activities and participation translate into some economic impact. But as people seek out new activities and places to explore, they continue to look for expert resources to help them make plans. We've seen a big uptick in visits to travelwisconsin.com, which has been driven by our outdoor recreation content and by activities that naturally lend themselves to social distancing, like staying in a remote cabin or cottage. And as people continue to look to Travel Wisconsin for helpful content, we're making sure that we're keeping our content fresh, inspiring, helpful, and easy to find as people plan their next trip when the time is right for them. One of our main strategic imperatives at the Department of Tourism is to drive economic impact. I've mentioned it in previous slides. And for all the reasons that I previously mentioned, outdoor recreation plays a really big role in this. When we talk about economic impact, we often talk about our total economic impact. And this graphic does a really good job of breaking down all the little steps and interactions that contribute to economic impact as a whole. So, for example, as you can see, these kids are about to set off on a fun trail ride from their campsite. But we always have to remind ourselves that it's also the gear itself, whether it's the manufacturers of the tent, the clothing and helmets they're wearing, the bikes themselves, all of those purchases of products to enable those experiences are an important piece of economic impact in the state. The same is true of the local restaurants and the local farmers who provide the food that they need to eat before and after their fun trail adventures. And of course, the graphic artists themselves or the photographers that take the photos to help us promote tourism to encourage more people to participate in these activities over time. So without question, the activities and experiences themselves are what often drive people to choose Wisconsin. But we also have to think about the downstream impact that those choices ultimately have on our businesses and on our communities. And this is what we refer to as total economic impact. And here are a few more examples of the economic impact upon tourism as it relates to outdoor recreation activities. Each year, over 17 million visits to Wisconsin state parks result in over $1 billion in spending. Silent sports participants spend about $14.7 million a year in Ashland, Bayfield, and Sawyer counties alone. The Cheese Country Trail, which is ATVs and UTVs usage, draws 98,000 visits a year and generates $15 million in spending in southwestern Wisconsin. And as a major economic driver for tourism in the state, it's important for us to have an office dedicated to supporting this sector. It's an important part of the work that we connect the activities themselves to the businesses, as well as the government agencies and entities that steward the places we recreate in order to ensure Wisconsin is a top destination for outdoor recreation in the future. Without question, outdoor recreation and Wisconsin tourism go hand in hand, and we're excited for the future of working toward building upon the legacy and heritage that Wisconsin has had in place for many, many years.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Now I'd like to introduce you to Shane Brossard, Director of Marketing and Advertising for the Department of Tourism. Shane?
Thank you so much, Mary. Hi, everybody. I'm Shane Brossard, Director of Marketing and Advertising with Wisconsin Department of Tourism. And today I'm going to talk to you about research and data, and specifically why outdoor recreation is so important to what we do here in our marketing programs at the Department of Tourism. But before we go into the details, I really want to set this up by visualizing how we go about building out our strategy. So it really starts with audience context, getting an understanding of who the target audience is and what are their needs and wants. And then second, we take a look at the category context. Who is our competitive set? What can they own versus what can we own, and what can we deliver on that they cannot? And then last and certainly not least, we take a look at brand context. What about Wisconsin allows us to have a competitive advantage in the marketplace? So I would like to go into, first and foremost, taking a look at some data that we get from Longwoods International, which is a research company that we work with to get an understanding of Wisconsin's image and perception against the competitive set. And so what I'd like to do today is actually take you on a deep dive and take a look at the sports and recreation category, which is most relevant to outdoor recreation, of course. And so when you look at this particular category, Wisconsin actually outperforms the competition. The graph that you're looking at here shows that very clearly that Wisconsin is outranking the competitive set of Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Missouri, and South Dakota. In fact, 65% of respondents believe that Wisconsin has better sports and recreation offerings compared to those other states. If we go in and take a look a little bit deeper as how that stacks up against very specific states, you'll see that Minnesota and Wisconsin are neck and neck, but actually after that it falls off quite significantly. We get to Michigan at 60% of respondents who believe that they offer a good sports and recreation opportunity. And then South Dakota, Missouri, and Illinois round out the bottom of the list. Keep in mind, anything plus or minus 3 percentage points here is pretty significant. So let's take an even deeper dive into the sports and recreation category, and let's look at the different types of activities that are represented in this space and how Wisconsin stacks up against the competition. So you'll see here all across the board, Wisconsin has a competitive advantage when we compare ourselves to the competitive set up in the upper Midwest. So whether it's a good place for camping, excellent state park facilities, great for kayaking, canoeing, rafting, great for exploring nature, good hiking or backpacking, a destination with clean, clear water for recreation, excellent fishing, great for swimming, and great for bicycling. Wisconsin outpaces the competition in every single one of these activities, which allows us again to have that competitive advantage in this category. The next slide is going to show you where there's the largest gap between those respondents who strongly agree that Wisconsin offers a great opportunity for a particular activity versus the competitive set. And so you'll see here the largest gap actually exists within excellent fishing, followed by beautiful fall colors, great for kayaking, canoeing, and rafting, great for swimming, and a destination with clean, clear water for recreation. And of course, the remainder of these activities in this list, again, are a significant change between what the competitive set ranks and what Wisconsin ranks. So now I want to take a look at how Wisconsin ranks from a product versus image standpoint. And so the way that you can read this chart is on the left, you'll see here that 71% of respondents have agreed that Wisconsin both has a good perception and image for sports and recreation opportunities, but also can validate that it actually has the product needed because they've recently visited the destination. And so on the left, you'll see 71% for recent visitors to the state of Wisconsin versus on the right, folks who have never visited Wisconsin. And so that proves to us that not only does Wisconsin have a strong image perception in the category of sports and recreation, but after people actually come here and experience that product offering, their opinions about the state actually improve quite drastically. So again, 71% of respondents who have visited the state can vouch for the fact that Wisconsin not only has the good perception of that particular offering, but also can deliver on it because they physically have been into the state of Wisconsin and participated in those activities. So we'll take a deeper dive, and here is where you'll see the people who have come to the state compared to those who have not, and then where is the biggest gap. And so you'll see where the biggest gap exists is in the destination with clean and clear water for recreation. After somebody comes to the state of Wisconsin, their perceptions of the state actually increases exponentially by 27%. And you can go down the list here: excellent fishing, beautiful fall colors, great for kayaking, canoeing, rafting, good place for camping, etc., etc. The good news here is there is actually no significant perceived product weaknesses versus image. What that means is that after somebody comes to the state of Wisconsin, right, and experiences these amazing opportunities, they're not let down. Their image and perception of the state and what they believe it to be is validated and in many cases exceeded. That's not always the case, right? Sometimes you may think a certain destination offers a great opportunity for a particular activity, but then when you actually go there, you might be disappointed. That's not the case for Wisconsin, and this research clearly states that. So next I want to get into, how do we take all of that research and then develop a strategy and put that into the marketplace? And so what I'd like to show you here in a little bit is our summer television commercial, where we leaned clearly into great outdoors and outdoor recreation opportunities. And what we really wanted to do is position ourselves in a way that shows consumers that Wisconsin really provides, in our Wisconsin and our spirit of nature really provides the opportunity to create unexpected stories, big and small. And that Wisconsin offers great places and destinations for people to really unwind at their own place and create those shared memories and shared moments of joy. And they can believe this because, clearly we have the product, clearly we have the perception built that Wisconsin has these amazing opportunities. We have trails, parks, and forests all across the state, 2 Great Lakes, a Mississippi River, and many, many inland lakes. And talk about all of the great state park recreation opportunities we have. Wisconsin truly is a destination for the outdoor lover. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our summer television commercial, which is called Step Into Summer.
Ready to step into summer? Like really soak it all in. Set your sights on a breathtaking view. Explore a fresh coast right outside your door. Be awed by the awe-inspiring. Or savor a meal in the very place it was grown. Well, isn't it time you experienced the wonders of Wisconsin?
I hope you enjoyed that spot. It's a beautiful spot, and we look to continue the evolution of our brand and continue to lean into that space. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about audience context, which is, who are we trying to target? Well, that's pretty simple. We're trying to target adults aged 25 to 44. It does skew female. And really, we break this down in 2 ways. We have an existing target, which has already been coming to the state of Wisconsin in big ways. That target age is 35 to 44. But we have identified a growth market, ages 25 to 34, which we believe that provides a lot of opportunity for the future. And so let's talk a little bit about key profile points within sports and recreation for this particular target. We know that Natalie loves exploring outdoors in her free time. We can deliver on that, of course, for all the reasons I showed you before. And then she is actually happy with her life and enjoys letting loose once in a while and acting like a kid again. Getting out and exploring provides a sense of energy and possibility, and that is something Wisconsin can offer. And then her destination choice is driven by a range of intriguing activities, lodging, and budget. So I'll share some of that with you in the next slide. And then she's really looking for something unique and unusual that makes for a great vacation memory. For example, like maybe some amazing outdoor scenery or an outdoor adventure to go on with her family. So let's talk about the travel decision drivers. What is motivating our target to actually make decisions in this category right now? So we did some consumer research, which was able to show us, what are the different types of activities that actually move decision making within, travel planning. And here you'll see 3 different categories in which people were broken down into different stages of very important, somewhat important, slightly important, or not important at all in terms of how they make their decisions. So at the top of the list, you'll see exploring state parks, national parks, forests, while hiking, camping, or going on a scenic drive is actually really, really important to this target. In fact, 42% of all of the people who answered this particular survey identified that this is a very important thing. And of course, this is great news for Wisconsin because you can go back to the research I shared before, and both image perception and product is very strong in this category. We'll kick down to the next area here. Beautiful lakes and rivers for outdoor activities, canoe, kayaking, boating, or just maybe it's sitting on a dock. 39% of respondents said it's very important, and another 39% said it's somewhat important. So again, Wisconsin can check the list for all of those particular activities. And then last but certainly not least, it's just the range of outdoor activities that they can do in one trip, whether it's boating to hiking, maybe it's skiing or snowshoeing. Wisconsin really does offer an ample amount of different types of outdoor recreation opportunities. And you'll see here just that variety of offering is very important to decision making in the travel space. So 34% of all respondents said it's very important, and then 39% said it's somewhat important. So again, this is all very, very good news for Wisconsin because we can actually deliver on the needs and wants of the consumer. Let's talk about where these consumers live. Where are we putting our advertising? So from a target market standpoint, you'll see we target in-state in the Milwaukee, Madison, and Green Bay, Appleton DMAs. And we also go out of state into Illinois, specifically the Chicago DMA. We go to Minneapolis, St. Louis, Grand Rapids, Cedar Rapids, and Des Moines, Iowa. All of these markets are very, very important for us. And Chicago, as you can imagine, drives the biggest or largest volume of visitation, followed by the Minneapolis market. And that is out of state. Travel within the state of Wisconsin from its own residents is actually significant as well. Typically, what we'll see here is about a 52 to 48% split between in-state and out-of-state travel and where that trip originated from. And then I wanted to share a little bit of information to you today to show you how granular we dive into the data that's available to us. So we partner with a company called Arrivalist, who is a geolocation data company who allows us to track both exposures of our paid advertising, but whether or not that exposure actually produced an arrival in the state of Wisconsin. And beyond that, we can actually track down to how long that person actually stayed in the particular location that they visited. So what I went into our system and pulled was specific to the Schwammer National Forest. And what I wanted to know is in 2020, how many trips or arrivals did we record into the Schwammer National Forest from the state of Illinois versus the state of Minnesota? And more specifically, I was interested in the average point of interest duration, meaning how long did they actually stay in the Schwammer National Forest? And then how long did they actually stay in the state of Wisconsin? Because we can also measure cross-visitation between points of interest. And why this is all important is this is very valid data that can help us measure first and foremost, but also put plans in place to grow economic impact. Because the longer somebody stays in a destination, right, of course, the more money they're going to spend. So when you take a look at the Schwammer National Forest for 2020, we have recorded over 878 actual arrivals to the Schwammer. And those trips that are originating out of Illinois spend on average 2 days, 7 hours and 58 minutes actually in the Schwammer National Forest. But they actually spend a total of 5 days, 1 hour and 27 minutes in the state of Wisconsin, which is pretty significant. Now let's take a look at that same point of interest, the Schwammer National Forest, and compare that to those who have originated out of the state of Minnesota. We have recorded more volume trips from the state of Minnesota to the Schwammer, but what you'll see here is the point of interest duration, so the time they've actually spent in the forest themselves, is significantly less than those of arrivals that have came out of the Illinois market. So you'll see here Minnesota visitors actually spend 1 day, 6 hours and 10 minutes, meaning the Illinois traveler going to that same point of interest actually almost spends 2 times the amount of time in the particular point of interest. And then the Illinois traveler actually spends more than 2x amount of time in market, because the Minnesota traveler only spends 2 days, 14 hours and 24 minutes in the state of Wisconsin compared to Illinois travelers to the Schwammer who spend 5 days. And so this information can help guide our media strategy, where we put certain dollars to promote certain destinations within the state. And at the end of the game, we're trying to increase ROI. So we put dollars where they're going to be the most impactful. And then last but not least, I want to make you aware of some cooperative marketing opportunities that we provide our tourism industry. I have pulled a few forward here that are very relevant to those in the outdoor recreation space. We have a whole lineup of different print publications that we produce each and every year, including travel guides and event guides. But 2 that are very, very relevant to this particular category are our official State of Wisconsin Biking Guide and the official Wisconsin State Park System Guide, both of which offer paid advertising opportunities within each of those publications. And then over on the right, you're going to see some screenshots of different cooperative marketing opportunities that we have in our social media space. So we have a tremendous following on Facebook for Travel Wisconsin, well over 500,000 fans who are following us on a daily basis. And we provide opportunities for our partners throughout the state of Wisconsin to kind of co-brand and put content into the marketplace. So you'll see two very specific examples that have actually been put out in the marketplace in the past that do lean into the outdoor recreation space. The one on the left is a little bit more passive, just about going out, seeing fall colors, and visiting the Mountain Fire Lookout Tower up in Oconto County. And then over on the right, you're going to see something a little bit more topic specific, activity specific. We partnered with Rhineland or Area Chamber of Commerce to promote ample fishing opportunities and endless trails up in their destination. So these are all great opportunities where you can leverage the power of the Travel Wisconsin brand and buy into some very affordable, impactful places. And that's all I have for you today. Mary, thank you so much for allowing me to join today's webinar and share with you all the great work that we're doing here at Travel Wisconsin.
Shane, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. It was full of great information. And now I'd like to hand it over to Craig Trost, who will talk about the communication opportunities with Travel Wisconsin. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you so much, Mary, for having me here today. I'm the other half of the two-person duo of marketing and public relations at the Department of Tourism with Shane. We work very close together to promote Wisconsin under the brand name of Travel Wisconsin, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. All right, so public relations is a really exciting area of marketing with a capital M. A whole lot of different things that public relations accomplishes all at once. It's a sort of a multi-channel, multi-audience effort that shapes brand awareness, builds credibility, and when done right, it makes the work of Shane and those who do our paid advertising much more successful. And as you can see from this word jumble here, just lots of different ways that public relations integrates into the work that we do every single day. We communicate with four major audiences, and those four audiences are travel writers, many of whom are freelance writers. You might talk to somebody and pitch a story. It might appear in 2 or 3 different publications, and listed in the upper left-hand corner of the screen here, just some ideas of people that we work with regularly: the Chicago Magazine, the USA Today, Forbes, Travel Pulse, Travel and Leisure. There's hundreds of others. Additionally, we work with influencers, and these are people who have created a brand around themselves on social media, and they've accumulated tens of thousands of followers in many cases. And these are really, really, really important individuals to our public relations efforts because they help us lend credibility to the Travel Wisconsin product by coming into Wisconsin, experiencing what we have to offer, and sharing it with their many, many followers. Additionally, we work with legislators and other state agencies because the Wisconsin Department of Tourism, at its core, is a cabinet level agency, and those government legislators or other agency stakeholders are really critical to the funding that we receive to be able to continue to promote the work that we do through Travel Wisconsin. And last and certainly not least, our tourism industry stakeholders are a really important audience. We do a lot of different communications, whether it's email or social media or webinars just like these, to get the word out to folks just like yourselves, who we think if we're all working together, we can make so much larger of an impact for the state of Wisconsin. And of course, outdoor recreation doesn't just drive tourism in Wisconsin, it also drives the earned media that we receive. I spoke earlier about those freelance travel writers, and when we work to pitch Wisconsin to those writers, oftentimes outdoor recreation is driving that promotion because it really is such a great hook. We have a great product here in Wisconsin to offer. We want as many reporters as possible to know about it. Listed on the right here, just a few of the suggestions of clips that we've gotten recently. Thrill List, Wall Street Journal, Forbes, and Business Insider have all recently covered the Travel Wisconsin outdoor recreation story. And what's important to note here is that we also promote Wisconsin's outdoor recreation story to those outdoor recreation publications. But I wanted to highlight a few of them here that aren't strictly outdoor recreation because they do branch out into all different kinds of travel and tourism, and outdoor recreation is a perfect story to pitch to every publication, really. So we do our best to get that word out as good as we can, and that's what we're here to ask for your help. So there's three really important ways that you can help shape our media coverage. The first is helping us formulate our talking points. You have such important stories to tell about your experiences, your product, your brand, your organization, and we want to know about all of it because it just helps make our story stronger as we tell it to travel writers. We want to get those travel writers interested in coming to Wisconsin. Think of it as, why come to Wisconsin when they could go to any other state in the country? We know that it's because we've got such a great product here. We need you to help us tell that story. The other two ways is to sign up for our Hot Leads email and to sign up for our monthly email newsletter called The Scoop. The Hot Leads email is an opportunity whenever travel writers reach out to us. Maybe they're putting a really quick story together, the 10 best of something, and they want ideas. We'll take that request and send it back out to you, gather all those ideas, and pitch them back at the reporter in the hopes that your ideas help shape that reporter's story. And last and certainly not least is The Scoop. That's our monthly email newsletter that we put out from the public relations department here. Basically just gives you more details about what our PR program is doing and how you can participate in it. We also may ask for ideas, just like the Hot Leads email. It's just a slower turnaround. Our view on this is just simply the more we can keep you in the loop, the more we can work together, the better our efforts are for all of Wisconsin. I mentioned influencers earlier, and just like travel writers, outdoor recreation really does drive the work of these influencers. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you see Samuel Lee. He's a local influencer who does some really, really tremendous photography for us. And this is a really great collaboration between the marketing and PR departments here. And what we have is an influencer comes in, they promote the work that we're doing here in Wisconsin, but then additionally, we may also get copies of these photos or videos that they shoot, and we can use those in our own promotional efforts. And so it's a really great collaborative program that we've built. Additionally, we brought in a couple of golfers. They played some of America's best golf courses right here in Wisconsin. And then in the center there, we brought in a group called the Two Husketeers. It's a wonderful couple, travels all over with their two husky dogs, and it looks like they might need to rename themselves the Three Husketeers soon, because I think they've picked up a third. But it's a really cool way to just add third-party validation to the Travel Wisconsin story. I want to leave you with an opportunity for us to work together. We created recently the Public Relations Co-op program. It's a co-op program because it's cooperative in that for every dollar that you put in, we put in $1 to match that. I put the program together recognizing that there's a lot of different financial abilities. Some organizations have small budgets, some have big budgets, but you all have an important story to tell. And so we put a program together that allows you to buy in for as low as $125 and as large as $10,000. This program at the lower level will allow you to buy in to participate in our mentorship program with our agency of record, our public relations agency. You can learn everything from the do's and don'ts in PR to the hows and the whys and the why nots. They'll help you build your press kits and develop those kits. And additionally, I talked about working with those travel writers and those influencers. On the higher ends of our PR co-op program, you can partner with us and we can help tell your story as we go directly to travel writers and we meet with them and we pitch to them why they should come to Wisconsin. And additionally, there's a whole other set of a couple of offers in that PR co-op program that allow you to work with us to vet travel writers or influencers, to pitch them, to bring them in, to host them, kind of start to finish. We'll work together, start to finish on that. So that's one other opportunity for you to help us tell Wisconsin's story. With that, I want to thank you, Mary, for having me on this webinar today. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. Such a tremendous story in outdoor recreation to tell for Travel Wisconsin. And thank you for being a part of all of this and look forward to working with you all in the future. Back to you, Mary.
Thank you, Craig, and thank you for joining us for promoting economically vital outdoor tourism. The Office of Outdoor Recreation is a resource to help you connect. We appreciate your participation in today's webinar. Thank you.